I'm going to give you one of those.
It was a phenomenal audition. You did that.
The buzz is back. But who is going to make it all the way to the semi-finals? It's time to find out. Britain's Got Talent, the finalists revealed. Next Sunday at 6:30 on ITV.
And now with a look at what stories are making the headlines this Sunday, it's the very latest ITV News.
Good afternoon. Britain's top medical officers have issued a stark warning today that keeping children off school risks doing them more damage than coronavirus. Their joint statement issued ahead of next month's planned reopening of classrooms said that very few, if any, children would come to long-term harm by going to school. Not returning, they said, would mean a certainty of harm. They said schools are not what they called a common route of transmission of COVID-19. Ria Chatterjee reports.
Corridors and classrooms are stirring now in preparation for children pushed out by a pandemic. The UK's chief medical officers say the side effects could be serious.
The chances of many children being damaged by not going to school are incredibly clear, and therefore the balance of risk is very strongly in favour of children actually going to school, because many more are likely to be harmed by not going than harmed by going, even during this pandemic.
In a joint letter, they say children may have a lower risk of catching COVID-19 and are proven to have a much lower rate of hospitalisation. Furthermore, deaths among children and teenagers are extremely rare. Studies say that teachers aren't at increased risk of dying compared to the general working age population. But the chief medical officers say opening schools could increase the spread of the disease.
So when that happens, that we have localised testing and tracing regimes in place to make sure people can quickly get a test, quickly get a result, and identify those people they've come into contact with to deal with it on a localised basis. That's absolutely key. And I think that's the area that people won't necessarily have confidence that the government have got sorted at this moment in time.
In Scotland, schools opened last month. There's been criticism there of safety measures and social distancing.
I think the risk is always there, but I think this time around we're prepared. We know what precautions to take, and we're much happier.
I think that the risk is managed. I think there's always different risks. I think it's as important, if not more so, for the kids to see their friends.
Soon, millions of pupils will be back at school, adjusting again to life under a pandemic. Ria Chatterjee, ITV News.
Police in England are to be given the power to fine people up to £10,000 if they organise an illegal rave. Last week, Greater Manchester Police released video of a gathering that they'd had to break up because more than 200 people had attended. And this weekend, officers in Birmingham say they've had to go to more than 70 street and house parties to remind people of the need for social distancing. Anti-government protesters are beginning to gather in Belarus. Thousands of people are expected to join the demonstrations in the capital, Minsk, and elsewhere against the hardline regime of President Lukashenko. It follows the disputed election in the country 2 weeks ago. More than 50 news media websites have already been blocked in the former Soviet Republic this weekend. President Trump has declared a major disaster as wildfires continue to ravage huge areas of California. At least 5 people have been killed and hundreds of buildings destroyed. The fires that spread across nearly 1 million acres around San Francisco are among the worst in the state's history. Martha Fairley has the latest.
On the front line of the battle against the wildfires raging in California, these are the terrifying scenes that firefighters are coming face to face with as they try to control the flames. Nearly 1 million acres have been burned over the past week in some of the largest wildfires in California's history. destroying nearly 700 homes and forcing tens of thousands of people to evacuate.
All right, guys, I'm going to get you out of here, okay? All right. One of you needs to put this on. It's like a jacket, okay? All right.
The flames have been moving so fast that these two firefighters found themselves trapped.
See how close it is, guys? Yeah.
Just 75 yards away from the advancing blaze, they had to be winched to safety by a helicopter crew. A major disaster has been declared as 3 clusters of fires continue to burn in the San Francisco Bay Area. And there's concern the flames could threaten the state's historic giant redwood trees, as well as further properties.
Our strike team is assigned up here to assist the citizens in the area and assigned to do structure protection. And so we're up here trying to identify any hot spots that we can see and that we can safely reach, and just do our best that we can do to keep the homes preserved in the area.
While light winds and cooler weather helped firefighters to make progress yesterday, another warning has been issued for high fire danger today and tomorrow, with more dry weather, lightning and gusts of wind forecast. Fire chiefs say the worst is not behind them yet. Martha Fairley, ITV News.
Cricket now, and England continue to dominate in the third test against Pakistan this morning, but rain is hampering their drive for victory. Jimmy Anderson took his 4th wicket before bad weather forced the players off, with the visitors 41 for 4 in reply to England's mammoth first innings total. Anderson needs just 3 more wickets to reach 600 test victims. England already lead the series 1-0. And finally, while Britain's been sweltering in high temperatures and suffering from summer storms, it's rather a different picture on the other side of the world. Widespread snowfalls have affected the area around Sydney in New South Wales, transforming the area into a winter wonderland.
It is awesome! It is relaxing!
We saw that the snow was coming, so we booked a motel last night. And so we drove up and we woke up to snow falling, so it was pretty magical. Oh, it's amazing. It doesn't happen very often, so it's great. It's so cold, but there's so much of it.
That's all from the Lunchtime team. Bye-bye for now.
Today, in some places, it could be pouring, but don't worry. It'll only be in very isolated areas. Heinz Salad Cream sponsors ITV